G'day folks, welcome back to Atlantic Wall, and I think I'm going to have to bring this scenario to an end. I've made it just at the start of the third day, and partway through the administrative phase, I'm kind of running through the sequence of play. Partway through the sequence of turn, I've done the air allocation, weather determination. That all goes smoothly. Command phase, and where did I get to? I got to command supply status of headquarters, and double checking the rules as I go along as I normally do. But I've realised here that I've made a critical mistake. So as always, flicking through, and again, these are my tables that I've got. So as usual, having the sequence of play on one, having the intermediate scenario, modifications to the sequence of play on another tab, having the scenario specific modifications on a third, having the fourth to search. You can see I've been searching general supply, and then having a couple of GOS. This is the sequence of play from, I'm not sure where, I've got a few of these hanging around, and then the general rules. And I realise as I'm working through general supply, because you can double checking, there are rules, exclusive rules. There's general supply rules. There's Atlantic Wall exclusive rules. There are intermediate scenario rules for things like ammo, blah, blah, blah. There's the scenario specific rules, which vary by day. Then there's also, day, where am I here? I think I'm in the logistics, the full logistics rules modification section. So there's another section, and it's here that I realise, so reading through everything carefully, get to the 8th of June, and all the procedures listed in 15.4, so for the 7th of June apply, with some exceptions. General supply path now can be no longer than 6 mech MPs. Okay, so that's okay. And now I did make, as a result of this, I made a little adjustment to the 90th. They had just gone a bit too far, and I didn't realise this rule, so I've just kind of adjusted them. I don't mind doing that in hindsight. It doesn't affect too much. The 90th are kind of all around this area. But what's really crippling me is when I go back and I say, okay, I need to double check on 15.4, the June 7th, and then I realise that formation headquarters must remain within 1 hex of a landing hex on the beach they arrive. And I haven't been doing that. So I've played through all of the 7th of June without that. That means 4th division should be kind of here. That probably won't make too much of a difference. It means that 9th division should be here. I'm trying to think if this is critical enough to cripple the campaign, the scenario. This is what I'm playing here is a 6-day scenario, scenario 6. I thought about converting it to the full campaign, but you can't do it on Vassal. You cannot suddenly, because these boxes are empty and I haven't been playing with the naval transit rules in this scenario. More problematic over here. All right, so 29th. And to be honest, not a lot happened. So I'm going to try and rewind. What I'm working through is rewinding the implications of this error. Okay. And units drawing supply to their headquarters. The 4th division haven't gone too far. Okay, they're in this vicinity. Okay, so I need to then check. So I'll do that offline. So I'm not boring you with drawing logistical lines. There may be there's no 90th division units down here, which is fine. Good. They're all in this vicinity. They've been moving very slowly off the beach. I think the 90th, some of these guys have pushed too far. I might pull them back. We'll just make an adjustment. Again, they haven't been engaged in any combat here. They've just been moving, but they've moved too rapidly, too far. from their supplies. Gen supply path from formation to subordinate units no longer than 6 mech or 9 leg MPs. Okay, so I'm just going to bring these guys back to within range, closer range. Likewise, I might do the same. I can easily make some adjustments with the 4th. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring these engineers back. I can't do much about these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a lot of these will be just out of supply. Out of supply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where else can I put these? SHQ. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So they'll be kind of in gen, and I think they attacked. Right, so supply issues for the 4th Division, just. Okay, 29th, they have to come back. I don't think they're going to have too many problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still they are. They've pushed past their supply as well, but again, I can pull them back. Where can I put them? Look, if I put the headquarters basically adjacent to a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it keeps those guys in supply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those guys. There's been a couple of little attacks through here. Look, I'm thinking I may just be able to make these adjustments. 1st Division, pull them back. They're fine. All right, they have pushed out a little bit too far. I'm just going to basically pull these units back to within a valid supply path. So where they've pushed a bit too far, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might just, wind them back a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it feasible? Or is it just too much work? Because I've made another mistake, which I'll talk about in a moment. All right, so now we get to 50th. Now the 50th have driven out the most illegally. So that should be way back here. 1, 2, 3. And so all of these are in on-hand supply. And they've captured Bayeux. How do you capture Bayeux? Now I guess at the start of the turn they would have been in supply. Right, so problems for the 50th. I think it's too much to do. It's doing my head in. All right, 3rd Canadian, get back there. 51st Division, get back. We'll throw you there. 3rd Infantry Division, get back there. And that's the airborne. Okay, so that's kind of... that frustrates everything. Lessons learned. I think I'm going to wrap it up because this is just too much. The entire front. There hasn't been a lot of activity, but there has been activity, which would have put units out of supply. And just thinking about unwinding all this is just a lot of effort. I've made other mistakes as well. So the other mistake I made was with the night turn. Night turn units have +1 movement point to enter every space if they're not following a road. And I completely forgot about it. This isn't a GOS general rules. I should know this. But just, I slipped. So as I'm running through the implications of this, particularly for the Gold Juno Sword Beaches, I think it might be too much. They are a long way. And the funny thing is I watched... was it Texas Water Department's video where a lot of the exact same thing. They pushed all their units beyond supply limits. And I knew they were 1 hex away. I knew they had to stay within 1 hex on the 6th of June. I just completely forgot about it on the 7th of June. Now on the 8th of June, they can move, right? But I've got the whole day of the 7th that I've basically messed up. These are basically, they should be headquarters back on the beaches, gender supply paths from those beaches are, here's another headquarters, 49th, recently arrived. All right, so even these recently, they're out of supply as well. So basically the entire Allied force is out of supply. And yeah, has been operating illegally. And I'm trying to think of what's happened. Look, not a lot out here, to be frank. Not a lot of activity. Out here around Bayeux, the attack on and around Bayeux has been pretty important, driving through Bayeux. I'm trying to think of combats that have taken place. I probably got I've probably covered it in the video, but it's just too much. It's the entire scenario. It's kind of undermined. And this is exactly the same thing that happened with Octam Ryan. This is why I kind of wrapped up my playthrough of both scenarios of Octam Ryan. So I was playing the kind of 7th Panzer Army, 7th Army, 6th Panzer Army, and just made these kind of silly logistical errors that kind of undermined the legitimacy of the gameplay. And when I make rules like this is really critical for me personally. Like when I make a rules goof that is so big to the extent that, everything I do is in error, it makes me want to stop. Not because I'm not enjoying it. I'm really coming around to Atlantic War. Still experiencing many frustrations with the rules, right? So pretty much everything I said in the rant, I'm still experiencing. The example I just gave of having to read through logistics, supply. I've got the supply rules open right here because I've been rereading the supply rules, reading the supply rules here. Yeah, I won't go into it again. But then to make an error that I can't undo. And so I don't mind, because I'm playing solo, I don't mind fudging a little bit, So if it's a case of saying, well, these guys from 29th they wouldn't have been able to in supply. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They probably should have moved there instead. Right. So I don't mind doing that, but it's when they've done that and they've engaged in combat. And it's the combat where they would have used their supply, so they would have gone on gen supply to do. So what would have happened? Oh, look, it's just too much. I can work through it. It would take me too long, and the frustrations are piling up to the point where it's interesting because the game, like this situation around here, around Bayeux, is getting very interesting. Germans are trying to form a line, and I've got the 1st Division and the 50th Division. This is after the night turn. So the 50th is really trying to move down. They were trying to move down through here illegally. The other mistake I made was I said I've got the night move, so these guys are moving quite rapidly. All right, so I was going to penalise them in the AM turn. I was going to say, okay, I made a mistake in the night turn. I'll fix that by reducing their movement in the AM turn. Just kind of say that they did extended night movement, but they're exhausted, and so in the morning turn, they're slow to activate. I was going to kind of grok it in a way, but compounding that with the supply rules is too much. I really should have caught this because I read it. Where is it again? It's this one. It kind of runs over the page. Formation headquarters must remain within 1 hex. Yeah, formation headquarters. So all those divisional headquarters. I forgot that it was the 7th. And it's really frustrating. Everything else. Airborne divisions are low fuel. What are the implications even of that when they're all leg units? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what headquarters. AT. Okay, 82nd Airborne AT is mech. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So look, I'm going to wrap this up. Sadly, I'm really disappointed that I've made this mistake. But yeah, if I were to continue, like I said, I would have to feel right about continuing, I would need to go through, I would probably, these guys have attacked, right? So I would have to, I don't know what I'd have to do to fix it, in effect. A lot of the 4th Division, the entire 50th Division, the entire division pretty much. 2, 3, 4, bar these two, this one, the Devons. Okay, that's the only that's the only battalion in the entire division that is not out of supply. Yeah, and they've been attacking and wiping out some Germans, I'm pretty sure. Little pockets of companies and Z-step units and AT and the like. So look, as I said, I'm convincing myself I need to stop, but I am enjoying this more and more. I'm logistics is still taking me a heck of a long time. All right, so I've gone through the air allocations. I just had through everything at ground support. I have previously used ground interdiction, thinking it would be good to limit German mech movement. Noting, however, that the Germans do not have a lot of reinforcements coming in. Yes, it's the 12th SS, but last time they were limited to 10, and it didn't make a huge impact. They basically, they're rushing along this primary road through Caen, and it didn't have much of an impact. So I'm getting better with the logistical rules. I even use some German truck points to motorize the 346 to come on. I was trying to rush them out to Bayeux to deal with that situation in front of the 50th. So my plan was not to send 346 around this area, but actually just to send them straight out along this secondary road to this kind of vicinity to try and hold the 50th. You can see here where I've rushed out the 12th SS. So this is following that legal night turn. So I've rushed the recon units of the 12th SS division to some of the, kind of in this area, basically. And I've been trying to make little movements with the 12th SS to shift them further out to the west. You can see the improved positions underway. So we're really digging in now. I don't think the lines are going to move much. Quite passive activity. Some big stacks. There's opportunities for the Allies to attack. They're just trying to maintain this kind of maneuver warfare while they can. And then got some remnants of companies being thrown elsewhere into the line. These guys couldn't move very far in that night turn, so that's why they're kind of plonked in the middle of nowhere. They won't be in too much trouble. But and then up here, this is the German line that I've constructed quite rapidly with two engineering companies, I want to say. One company there and another company there, pioneer companies. So they've constructed this line, which I was hoping to hold. I've got some 7th Army security troops coming up, but not much else. I do have these rest of these guys. These are on, I think they're on bicycles. This is a motorized, I think it's a motorized brigade. I was reading about this guy, so trying to figure out what they are. They're a mobile brigade. They may be a mobile brigade. There's something unusual. Another gap. This unit type counter. You go to the where would you find out what type of unit that is? Of course, you'd go to the unit type chart. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to get into another rant. It's happening by accident. And you go through the unit types, and you think, well, where is this unit with a dot? They don't exist. So there you go. So I went. This is where I went and started doing some research. So I've got to go read external sources to figure out what kind of unit this is. And I was reading what I think it's bicycle 30th. I won't get back into it, but I ended up having to do some reading on, the brigade history, Mobile Brigade, I think it was, 30th Mobile Brigade. Anyway, so look, it's been a very mixed experience. All right, so this is Atlantic War frustrates the hell out of me, and I sit down to start to work through it, and I hit a point where I can't find the answer, and I get frustrated, and I stop, and I just have to walk away. And then almost like half an hour later, I'm like, all right, I want to start moving my unit. So I come back to it. So this logistics phase has taken me quite a while, because literally I will do, what did I do? What did I start with? Air allocation. So I did air allocation, blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of couldn't figure out what happens to German air. Germans can only allocate air to ground support, right? So they get their 6 ground support points. And I was like, well, what about the weather? Because the Allied, like 3/4 of the US air units or air allocation are grounded. The Germans grounded? And I kind of couldn't find an answer. And so I just kind of did the air allocation, and then I stopped. And then I came back later. It's like, right, I want to get to the movement phase. That's what's really interesting. So I came back and worked through the weather. This is the first turn that we actually make a weather determination roll. So we rolled for overcast in the west and partial overcast in the east. So this is really important because the atmospheric conditions shape your air allocation. So as I said, 3/4 of the 44 available points were reduced. Now I couldn't figure it out as well. So you have to allocate your air points to rolls first, then you determine the weather. So it's risky because if you don't allocate enough to interdiction, and if it's halved or reduced to a quarter, you could be really struggling to have any impact at all. You'd need a 7 or more on a D10 to have the minimal impact. Okay, I've been last turn, so the 7th of June, I got a 10 result, and as I said, that was pretty minimal as well. So you need a decent kind of, you want to be looking for interdiction in this vicinity to have kind of much of a noticeable impact on movement rate. So interdiction, the way it works, it's really, really wonderful once you figure it out. It's basically if a German unit that, when the Germans are being interdicted, you find a value, all right, let's say 5, and if a German mech unit moves more than 5, they get attacked. So it's really cool. You can kind of like move cautiously. I really love the way that to me that reflects interdiction during the campaign. The Germans were afraid to move, and so you feel that moving the Germans, even just the 7th of June, having 10 movement points. I was like, I am not going to risk being attacked by Allied air. So I was moving somewhat cautiously. Once it gets to this area, you are moving very cautiously, and that's what actually happened. The German mech units were terrified of moving. Allied air cover, its effect was to create this fear of moving, and the interdiction rules do that. They really recreate that fear really well. So then once you've allocated that, you roll for rain. We had, interestingly, overcast and rain in the west, no rain in the east. So, basically what that means is these guys are being rained on, these guys aren't. So you might be overdoing it. I think one weather roll, one weather roll should be fine. So this, of course, affects the US air and the British air, if the Commonwealth air, if I understand it correctly, right? And that's why the British Commonwealth air is only halved. They've got 20 ground support out of their 40 allocated. Again, none to interdiction and ground conditions. So because yesterday was dry, no rain, the rain today doesn't affect it, but it may affect it tomorrow. All right, that's based on weather charts, ground conditions. So current game turn is rain, but yesterday was no rain. Rain, mud. What is that? Well, okay, rain, no rain. Mud. What? Well, now, look, I'm not going to bother figuring it out, but rain, rain, rain. Oh, rain, rain, rain. Maybe you go rain. Current game turn is rain. Previous game turn conditions. Do you go like first turn of no rain, second turn of no rain? I don't know. I need to reread that, I think, because no rain, no rain. Anyway, that's how you determine the ground conditions, based on a mix of rain and previous weather conditions. What else? What else? What else? So that's worked through there. Wow, that took a long time to get through that. Naval unit assignment is really simple. You roll on the naval. Is it logistics? Yes. No. Miscellaneous tables, the naval unit availability tables. So you roll here for the west and the east to determine how many ships you get, and then you add the ships. So here they are. Unfortunately, throughout the 7th of June, I just completely forgot I've completely forgot about this support. I forgot I had air ground support, and I forgot I had naval support. So none of these modifiers were used in combat. Rookie error. I get so used to the combat mechanism, I forget. And in Rocked on Rhine, you don't have naval and you don't have air for the early turns as well. So it's just kind of like, I need to remember. So I forgot about the navy and the air last turn. And as I started this turn, I was like, right, I'm going to remember this time. Made other mistakes instead. Okay, so then I said naval unit assignment. And then I got to here and I was like, I've stuffed it up. But look, it's been a good experience. It's been interesting. It's been long. It has taken me when did I start this campaign? Way back, I'm trying to find, on the 17th of August. Okay, so 17th of August, here, 2.5 weeks. It's taken me 2.5 weeks to play through 2 days. And I may have missed yesterday. The last 2 days have been pretty quiet. But I've been playing every day bar the last 2 days, I think. Little bits, often just small bites. I might do, as I said, the allied player movement, take a break, come back and do allied combat, come back, run through the full German turn, which usually doesn't take as long, then go to the next turn and do, so I do little bits and pieces. Vassal is amazing, of course. And again, I would not be able to play this without Vassal. I cannot imagine managing this scenario. The thought terrifies me of having this set up on my table. The module is amazing. I don't know who designed it. Player help. There's this is an interactive help guide you can click on, sort of how this works. You say authorship. So credit to whoever designed it. I would love to see. Movement trails, because so often I need to make little adjustments. If you see me play Stalingrad 42, which I don't have open at the moment, the movement trails are so valuable there for correcting errors. In this, because there are no movement trails, I often have to undo until I get to that mistaken movement. Or that 90th Division, for example, if they had movement trails, I don't know what I just did there, but okay. Okay, if they had movement trails, I would be able to say, okay, they've moved from here, I'll put them back where they were. Movement trails is a really great tool in Vassal, but that's not a criticism. That's just a wish list of mine. So yeah, look, now that I'm packing it in, I'm really sad that I am, but I'm just wondering, do I start all over again? Do I set it all up now that I know how things work? The airborne phase is really fun. The problem is I had such a good airborne phase. I could load. I could go back to like the 7th of June. Oh, I don't know. And that kind of feels like cheating. I could go back to the start. I think I've got a save file for the 7th of June. 7th of June, just 6th of June night turn. I don't. So I've got the start of the night turn on the 6th of June. So I could just go through that night phase. Tempting. All right. I'm going to have to dwell on this and think about where I want to go from here. Okay, so look, I'm not calling this a victory or defeat for either side. It's only 2 turns into a 6-turn scenario with some mistakes. Mistakes were made. Yeah. Despite those mistakes, aligning close to history, aligning close to historical schedules across the board, it's very interesting to see the situation here develop. The Germans here are really threatening. This is probably where the Americans should be most concerned. They have some good, strong battalions here with armour and artillery. And the 82nd Airborne doesn't have much. You can see I've raced up this M4 battalion. Yeah. All right, folks, I will wrap it up here. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm sorry to everyone who's been watching. I'm really disappointed that mistakes were made. But let me think about what to do next. But yeah, it's Atlantic War. This was the Scenario 6, D-Day the 6th of June. It is a 6-turn scenario. It would have ended on the 12th of June. So it just covers the kind of landing, establishing the beachhead, and then a hold. All right. Thanks, everyone, and take care. Bye for now.